Okay, what's up guys? Got a chisel rack for you this time. I should say my chisels are all the same length, so if you plan on making something like this, make sure you have your chisels first. I know a lot of chisels get longer as they get wider. These are the Cobalt brand and they are conveniently all the same length. Alright, I don't have this mounted to the wall yet, but there you go. If you want to see how I did it, stick around. Alright, so I did make plans up for this chisel rack. I'm going to just print those out and then just simply tape them together and try to cut out the blue area. That'll give me a decent template to work with. Look at that. Almost perfect. Okay, so some spray adhesive, and then I'm just going to stick this onto this piece of oak that is actually already cut to 3.5 inches. Just going to cut it to the length of the template. I decided to put a center punch on each of the centers here. The first hole I'm actually going to drill here is actually 1 1/4 inch hole, but I'm only going to go about 1/4 of an inch deep. Now this is just for my chisels to kind of set down in a little. Your chisels may have a different size of handle, so make sure you check that first. Now I'm going to come back with a 3/4 inch and drill all the way through, almost all the way through. I'm actually going to flip this just so I don't get any tear out. I did put tape on the back as well. There's a look at that tape. So I'm just going to eyeball it and finish that up. So real quick with the bandsaw, I'm just going to cut straight on in. I got some guidelines on here already. Okay, so my bandsaw is going to get in the way here. So what I did, I kind of predicted that was going to happen. I transferred the lines to the other side with the square. It's no big deal. We'll just flip it over and we'll just keep on cutting. If you put a little heat on this stuff, it's easier to get off. So I went ahead and added a routed edge here just for aesthetics. And now this bottom piece I'm going to cut to the length after I've routed the top part. There you go. This is a great time to do keyholes. Some of you guys may do French cleats. I decided to just go with some keyholes. I spaced them 16 inches apart, just out of convenience really. Make sure the keyholes are on the back, and then here I'm just trying to figure out how far in to the bottom board my chisels will actually sit. And then finding center, I can use that same template as well. I decided to use a 3/4 inch round over bit on the router table here, and I took this in small steps. That was actually more of a pain in the butt than it was worth. I ended up hitting the center line on the table saw just to give me a little extra depth. You can see that table saw cut there just to give me depth. Now had the back piece been longer, this would have not been a problem. So I want to put a round over. I actually want to shorten the bottom protection piece and round it over. So I'm just trying to figure out how far that round over can go before I trim this section of the project down. So here's a mock-up. This is where my mallet's going to go, so I need to cut out this portion. So what I'm going to do, set that down. I want to glue it all the way along this. Draw a line. I'll line these up. And then I'm going to put a mark right around there. I will transfer that over. And then I'm just going to roughly make that curved. Not sure if you guys can see that too well, but I'm gonna cut this part out. But I want to leave enough here so that this back piece has something to glue onto. I think I used a 2-inch bit there. I'm not real super sure. Just something to give me an arc, and then we'll finish it up on the bandsaw. Alright guys, so here's where I'm at. This whole time I've been doing these little test fittings and just clamping this together roughly. Want to make sure I got room for my chisels, room for my mallet. If you don't want to do the groove, make your back piece taller. If you don't want to do the mallet, you know, X-nay that whole part too, you know. This is a mallet that I made, so it's kind of specific to that. However, I did put a round over on the front here. There's a look at that round over. I don't know. Only because it was convenient to do before I glue it. Got the keyholes in the back still, obviously. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. I tried to avoid as much squeeze out in there as I could, but I did get a little anyway. Nothing special about the clamp up. Let the glue dry, remove the clamps. You'll see here I did decide to try to get that squeeze out of there as best I could. After it's completely dried, I decided to put some dowels in, just for the heck of it. Which I believe my dowels are 3/8 of an inch and they are poplar. I think that's what those were. It's actually kind of fun to just grind them down. Don't go too far, you'll scrape everything up just like that. Spray lacquer, just a couple coats. Bada boom, bada bing. Find a couple screws and hang it up on your wall. Get your chisels in, and then you won't be banging them up all the time like I've been doing. They're laying on my workbench, getting banged around. Alright, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.